Much like the age-old question, to skinny jean or not to skinny jean, marketing strategies can come and go, and come back again. Who can keep up with that? Luckily, there's HubSpot's 2024 State of Marketing Report. It's the all-in-one guide for what's happening this year and how marketers can best approach it all. The report covers everything from increasing awareness and engagement to ensuring privacy, boosting efficiency, and growth. Don't get caught behind the trends, everybody. Visit HubSpot.com/state of marketing to get your free copy of the report. Okay, happy Friday, everybody. It's April 12th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennet, Ryla, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Have you ever wished your dog could experience the joys of first-class air travel? Well, now it seems like they can. BarkAir comes from the company Bark, and in late May, this airline will begin operating flights consisting of affluent dogs and their humans in a spacious environment. So how much for a ticket, and why is all this happening right now? We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines today in business and tech. To start us off here, a very unexpected company getting into the gold trade, Costco, now sells about $100 million to $200 million in silver and gold per month, thanks to consumers lured by online chatter and rising inflation. That's crazy. Next, the Humane AI pin, wearable tech meant to do what your phone can minus the screen, is now on sale for $699, less than an iPhone 15, but despite its potential, reviewers were not exactly impressed with the tech. Okay, moving on to Hollywood, Margot Robbie's Lucky Chap and Lionsgate will produce a Monopoly movie, making it a great time to remind you that it was originally a game against monopolistic landlords. But Juliet, what do you think about this Monopoly movie?
I love this weird sort of trend in let's make games into movies. I mean, I think we're seeing that a lot because Hasbro really got into it. It owns all the games through a series of, decades old mergers and acquisitions. So it did the Ouija horror movies. First one terrible. Second one's got Mike Flanagan. You might as well give it a watch. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. That movie is actually great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Really well done. Surprisingly,
so fun.
Right?
And then, of course, Mattel really knocked it out of the park with the Barbie movie, made so much money. So it is not surprising to see Margot Robbie doing this with her production company, Lucky Chap and Lionsgate. And I'm pretty interested in it because I think the Barbie movie could have been really, really, really stupid.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I mean, it had a lot to say and it was really good. And I think maybe Monopoly could do the same thing. If you dig into the origins of the board game, which our very own Mark Dent has done, you'll find it was a much different game. And it kind of also had this thing where there was like a woman who invented it. It was kind of erased from history. It could go in a lot of interesting directions.
Yeah, I really like this new idea of games and other things becoming movies. Like Mario movie kind of had a similar bucket where they were just like, hey, let's just make this thing a movie. And I think I actually mentioned this in a conversation with a friend recently that why hasn't there been a Monopoly movie? Because, it's probably the most popular game of all time.
It is.
Considering board games.
Yeah, I think in terms of bestseller, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so why not? And I guess we'll see that pretty soon in theaters. Next, several Taylor Swift songs have made their way back to TikTok, despite a dispute between TikTok and UMG. As she owns her masters to these songs, she likely reached a deal with TikTok ahead of next Friday's album drop. What do you make of Taylor Swift just being able to, do whatever she wants all the time?
I love that for her. I think regardless of how you feel about Taylor Swift or her music, she's kind of like a Dolly Parton in which she just kind of does whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Is beloved by a million people. Probably a little more controversial, I think, than Dolly, but this is God level celebrity status. She does not need her label to tell her what to do. She's got her Taylor's versions. She's coming out with a big album. She changes the economy just by doing stuff. So good for her.
Yeah, good for her. And finally, an internal Boeing probe found outgoing CEO David Calhoun and other execs took about $500,000 in personal trips on the company's dime, falsely recording them as business travel. I mean, that's bad, but it still is the least of Boeing's problems right now.
Yeah, he's lucky that on one of those trips the plane he was on didn't break apart midair or have a door fly off, honestly.
The CEO and the C-suite, they're not taking a MAX 9. They're on the nicest stuff they got. All right, on to the main story today. Speaking of flying, our big flying furry story today is all about the newest edition of Pet Luxury, which is their own airline. Dogs accompanied by their human companions could soon be boarding a plane from BarkAir. an airline made to create a dog-friendly environment on board. So, Juliet, what is the deal with BarkAir?
This is the air experience for you if you, A, have a lot of money, and B, want to spend that money on your dog. So this is a luxury experience. This is a private charter situation that's coming from Bark. That's the company behind the Bark Box subscription boxes, which you may get in the mail. I think it has treats and toys and all sorts of things for your dog every month, which is a great way to show your dog that you care. Not that your dog cares, but you will.
You definitely will.
My cat, I get my cat a new toy. My cat doesn't care, but I care.
Oh, yeah.
And this is kind of like the next level thing. This is a private charter air service for traveling with your dog. Now, you may say to yourself, why can't I just take my dog on a normal plane? Well, the idea is that that's not exactly comfortable and it's not exactly stress-free. If you have a little dog, you probably put that dog in a carrier, which has to go under your seat. Maybe your dog doesn't like that. If you have a big dog, it has to go in cargo. Your dog probably doesn't like that either. I mean, it's always stressful flying, and it's even more stressful if you've got a dog with you. Any additional thing you have in TSA is just more stress. I mean, your shoes are stressful. Dog, doubly so. So what we're doing here is this is all about the dog and, of course, the dog owner. You have a completely separate check-in area. You're not doing the TSA thing. You're showing up early. Your dog gets to do all of these like calming activities where it gets to meet all the other dogs on the plane. So there's no surprises. It gets something called calming pheromones. If you need to put your dog in one of those little like thunder jackets, they've got that. If your dog needs earmuffs because it's too loud, they've got that. Everything your dog needs to chill out. And that's before you even get on the plane. Once you're on the plane, there's going to be snacks and beverages for your dog. Your dog does not have to be crated or sit in a carrier unless that's what it wants. Otherwise, it can sit on your lap. It can sit on a seat. It can sit on a little bed. It can hang out with other dogs. And it only has to be leashed at the same sort of times when a human would have to, the fasten your seatbelt sign. That is the same time you want your dog leashed. So really, this is a great experience for dogs. I also thought it was funny that human passengers have to be at least 18 years old.
Yeah.
And that the only like children allowed on the flights are like your fur babies.
No babies.
There's no crying babies. There's no kids running around. It's all about the dogs here.
Yep, it is all about the dogs. I really like this notion that there's a bit of like a cocktail social before they get on the plane, just to get to meet each other, hang out, size up the competition, make friends. Then they get on the plane. It sounds like quite a paradise for dogs on this plane with unlimited treats and being able to run around in the sky. That's all well and good. But, if I'm a dog owner, which I am, how much will this cost me to get on this plane? It seems like I'm kind of an afterthought here. Maybe I could put my dog on without me.
Yeah, so every ticket is a one-way ticket. This does not service a lot of areas yet. It services New York, LA, and London, and it's not out of the big airports. You're not flying out of LAX, you're flying out of Van Nuys. So it is a very limited service. There's only 10 tickets. Each ticket includes one dog, one person, and it is going to cost you anywhere between $6,000 to $8,000, and that is one way.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Okay. That's a ton. The biggest concern I guess I have here is that this is extremely wasteful, I guess. It does take you from one place to another place, but it's a one-way flight. Only 10 tickets are sold for the flight. And what's that, like a max of 10 people coming on the flight?
That's 10 dogs, 10 people. There is the option to purchase additional human tickets. So let's say like you and your partner or I don't know, you and your roommate are moving across the country with your dog. There's a way to have more people on the flight, but yeah, you're limited to 10 dogs. So this is not a little cramped, tiny plane. This is a luxury experience.
It's a big plane. So, Taylor Swift, as we talked about earlier, got a lot of flack for her private jet fuel waste. But when you consider that more people are probably on that jet than on this jet, and it's just mostly comprised of dogs to get them from one place to one place only.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fuel.
She should put dogs on her plane.
She should have put dogs on her plane. That would have solved everything.
That could be a side hustle. Yeah.
So are any other services available with this kind of dog-minded flight path?
Yeah, the Washington Post was talking about another one called Canine Jets. That is priced similarly. So this is truly going to be your luxury dog experience if you're not willing to take your dog on a normal plane and deal with all the hassle of the normal plane.
Okay.
But as ridiculous as this may sound to someone who is not willing to spend $6,000 on a one-way flight, we are seeing a big rise in spending on pets, and that includes luxury items. We're seeing people, they're not just getting like dry bags of kibble, they're getting these really expensive, almost gourmet foods. They're cooking foods for their dogs. They're getting them luxury pet furniture. They're taking them to luxury pet spas. A lot of this is caused by a surge in pandemic era pet ownership. Everyone was stuck at home. They got pets. They really appreciated their pets when their pets were the only creatures they could hang out with for so long. And a lot of people are delaying having kids or forgoing having kids entirely. So then they have these pets and they're spending on their pets in ways that they probably wouldn't if they had human children that they also had to budget for. So it's entirely possible that someone might just be like, yeah, I'm moving to New York from LA, or I'm going on a trip to London and I don't want to deal with this shit, and I have the money and I'm going to have this experience.
Yeah. I mean, well, if you have the money, if you have $6,000 to $8,000 to spend on one flight to one place, then I mean, do it for the dog. Why not?
Yeah. In this economy, I doubt it. But, there are still some people who I think have the means.
Would you take one of these flights if you had a dog?
No, I would not, because I don't want to spend $6,000 to be on a plane. I just don't. My question, though, is can I be on a plane, perhaps a boat, a train, anywhere really, where I don't have a dog, but I am surrounded by dogs that I can pet? That is an experience I might pay a premium for.
That sounds much better. Imagine paying for a ticket on this flight, no dog, just human ticket.
Yeah.
And just kind of just basking, just sitting there with a handful of treats and just having the time of your life for 5 hours on the way to Los Angeles from New York.
That I would enjoy. I mean, I have paid $25 to $30 to enjoy an hour in a cat cafe.
Ooh.
So 6 hours on a plane. I mean, it's still pretty expensive.
It is. But
in the right environment at the right price, I could see going on a cat train or a rabbit bus. I mean, I think I would like it. Pretty much any experience where my time in transit feels more fun because there are animals that I can pet and cuddle with, I'm sold.
That's great. I think we've developed a new business idea out of this that will eclipse this current business idea, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, they tried it with snakes on a plane. And I think the problem with that was just it was the wrong type of animal.
Yeah. Wrong place for them to be, too. Ain't nobody want those damn snakes on that damn plane. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. You can head to the link in the description of this podcast to vote for the Hustle newsletter in the Webby Awards. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you later. Hey everybody, this great new podcast just came out and I can't wait to tell you about it. It's called The Next Wave, AI in the Future of Technology, and it's hosted by Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands. And of course, it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. You can catch The Next Wave with Matt Wolf and Nathan Lands, who are leading AI creators who are your guiding light in the AI and technology frontier. AI technology is transforming the way we do business, and the media landscape is a bit fragmented, but The Next Wave strives to be the leading podcast on AI technology and how you can apply it to growing your business. You can listen to The Next Wave wherever you get your podcasts.